How much fun has it been being with your brother?
It's been great. I think just getting around everybody again, getting back in the organization, it's been great. A lot of memories here, a lot of good ones. Nice to meet a lot of the new front office people, a lot of the new coaches. Only a few players that I played with are still here. But then, fun to see my brother out here interacting with the guys.
What's it been like to watch the trajectory of the organization from since you departed to now, where they're kind of back at the peak again?
Yeah, it's been great to watch. Obviously, I was here. We had some good teams, and then when I got traded, just playing against the Orioles and seeing a lot of the young guys, and then hearing about them through my brother too. It's fun to see those guys now in the big leagues, thriving, doing really well. I think the organization's in a really good spot, for the future.
You've been impressed with your brother's career, first at Norfolk and the success he had there, and then landing this job this offseason?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He was always really good at relating, to players, even when he was playing. It seemed like a lot of guys would go to him for advice, and I did my whole career. And he was the guy that I talked to. He's the guy that would give me, the harsh criticism when others wouldn't. So I'm not surprised he's at this level. I think he's going to be a good asset for the team.
What's the best piece of advice your brother ever gave you?
Oh man, there's a lot of things I probably can't say, but I think the best thing that he taught me was, obviously I was a prospect coming up, and he wasn't. He was a guy that grinded his whole career, and there was times where I struggled and went down to Norfolk, and we played together, and he would be like, "Man, like you got all the ability, it's just more." Like finding a way to get it done. And so we had a lot of good conversations, I think, probably like 2012 when I first got sent down, about, how to get back to the big leagues and, with the ability that I had, like putting in the extra effort and, really trying to, have a big league career. And it was great advice. And like I said, up until my last year playing, he was the guy that I would call and he'd watch my videos and we'd talk. It was great.
You have a whole scrummer before is asking questions about your brother. Are you concerned that at some point Buck is going to surpass your stature?
I hope so. I hope he does. I think it's fun. It's great. Being done playing, it's great to have somebody that's still in the game, and I can pull for him now. He used to watch me on TV. Now I can pull for him and his team. And I hope that he does great things in the game and is around for a long time.
After not doing anything for a couple of years, were you getting the itch to kind of be around the game again?
A little bit. I was kind of wanting, to get back into the organization a little bit. But I was kind of just like waiting to see like where my brother ended up. I just wanted to kind of be around my brother and like wherever he was going to be, whether it was here or somebody else. I wasn't really sure. You never know how that stuff's going to shake out. But now that he's back, it's obviously like a perfect fit for me to get involved. And Mike, Elias, and Brandon Hyde were, they asked me if I had any interest, and I really appreciated the invite, getting back in. It's a little weird, seeing it from this perspective, but it's a great group of guys, great coaches. So it was just nice to meet everybody and not playing against them, but get to know some of these players and the coaches. So it's been great, and hopefully I can be around a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said, things have changed a lot since you were last here in 2018. But does it seem weird? Because I mean, basically everything's changed about the organization since you left.
Yeah, most of it positive. Obviously, the new ownership group here, it sounds like they have a lot of great plans for the organization, and maybe some resources that are going to go back into the team, which is great. That was a little bit different than when I was here. We were kind of always like, hey, what we have in that room is what we have, and like make the most of it kind of thing, and we did. But it's always nice to know that like maybe you got a little bit more firepower behind you a little bit, to add some pieces or even improve some things in the stadium, whatever it is, to make your life a little bit easier. So these guys are in a really good spot. And I'm looking forward to watching them and kind of being a little bit more invested in what's going on here now that I'm done playing.
Do you see any similarities between the culture of this team and the one you had, particularly with how many homegrown guys there are?
I think so. I mean, I think they probably have a lot more like depth and talent than I think we did, even though we had like kind of a large group of guys that came up at one time, but we didn't have a ton like after. Just even watching like the arms out there throwing and the hitters is pretty stacked, system, and which makes sense. Mike coming from Houston, if you look at how they develop their teams and their championship winning teams, it's very similar, I think, blueprint that he's following. So I've been pretty impressed with a lot of the things I've seen here. Things that you don't see when you're playing against them. You don't get to see, the prospects. You see who's up at the big league level. So it's nice to see the organization here. Like I said, they look good.
Zach, we've been talking a lot about the young up-and-comers, but also on the pitching staff, you got Charlie Morton, you
Yeah.
got Albert Suarez coming back, Zach Eflin is just a little bit younger than you, Tomo from Japan. This seems like the staff is going to be buoyed by vets and who, are almost your contemporaries age-wise. What do you think that can do for this group, and how can it help them break through to where they've never been?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, let's just talk about Charlie, his career path and the things that he's experienced, successes, he's going to bring a lot to the table with the younger guys. Like, think about Grayson, right? The guy's got all the ability in the world to be a number one. So you expose the younger players to guys that know what it takes to play a really, really long time and to have success and ride the ups and downs. And it's a great fit. It's a great mix of guys that they've added, especially to the pitching staff. Because to me, it's always, you're only as good as your pitching staff. I mean, you only can outslug a team for so long, right? You got to prevent some runs. So I think it's a great ad because there's a lot of really good arms that maybe just need some good advice from a veteran player that's been through it. So I think Charlie was like maybe the best thing you could have done.